G'day folks, it's Jimmy here from the Hard Rock Show and all the other things. I am sitting in a cafe in a suburb called Seddon. The Seddon Deadly Sins Cafe. I am in the big room and the good room. It's called the good room, and I'm interviewing an absolute legend today. I've interviewed some legends. This guy's a real legend, Mr. Nick Barker. Let's go.
Hello everybody, it's Jimmy here again, and I am here today with a man who knows this industry inside out because he's lived it for a long time. And hopefully we're going to have some advice and some tips for some of you young bands out there and up and coming bands. This man, if you don't know who he is Nick Barker. Now, Nick Barker was in Nick Barker and the Reptiles. Before that, he was in the band called The Wreckery. There were all these other bands as well. He's now currently in the Heartache State.
What is it about this show?
The Heartache State.
Speech impediments, all of them. You.
I'm just going to let this
No, leave it. It's great. Look, you know what? In your defence, you're not the only one. People, it is a bit of a tongue twister. The Heartache State.
It is.
It's like a number plate.
Beers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
I forgive you.
Thanks, man. So, yes, this is Nick, and he's a legend, and all his music is on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. So if you haven't heard of him, and you've heard of him, we're going to have a chat.
Not to be confused with the drummer out of Cradle of Filth.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, that's another.
I get a lot of comments saying, This isn't Nick Barker.
Yeah.
Who's this wanker on my YouTube channel?
Where's the blast beats?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good. Now, I've got written down here that you started in this industry in 1980, technically, right? But you say it's a little bit after that.
Well, it was probably 82.
82. There you go.
82, 83. I started playing. I was in bands, but started playing in pubs around St Kilda. And,
so that's like 35, 37 years.
Yep.
Long time.
I haven't stopped.
No, you have not. And so that leads to my question. What has, and it's quite a very open type question, but what has changed the most in your eyes over this whole period you've been around?
Well, the obvious things have changed, the internet and obviously those things, because there was no internet.
No
internet.
Remember that.
I started.
Black and white days, yeah.
But musicians are, they're resourceful beasts, and when during the 80s when I was in all those bands, we'd go and stick posters up on poles. There was still community radio. Mm-hmm. One thing that hasn't changed is there was Triple R and PBS around then,
still going,
and 3CR.
Yeah.
So, and they were all really supportive. So we'd go and do stuff on them. Mm-hmm. We'd go and put posters up. We'd tell our friends. We'd stick flyers under windscreens.
Yeah.
And now you do Facebook posts, but it's one thing I can say about the music industry is that and this is going to be my Heartache State moment, it's cyclical. It's just, if you had to ask me that question in 1994 when Happy Man came out, I would have gone, oh man, wow, the last 10 years have been crazy. But now that it's kind of 30 years, it's like, well, it's just
turns.
It's kind of like musical style, there's bands now that sound like Led Zeppelin, the Black Crowes and the Stones, and they're 18 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a Steve Marriott, and it's which I think is fantastic.
Do you think that the wheel is starting to turn, or to come back more into, people are starting to get more into rock again?
I don't think it's ever stopped.
Yeah.
I just think that kids are now more easily, they're more able to access. My son's 6, right?
Yeah.
He plays drums,
Mm-hmm.
and he started out like, he likes all sorts of stuff. He liked Kiss a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And from Kiss, he's gone through some horrible stuff. He's gone from John Bon Jovi through Poison, and now he's on kind of like really good. He's sort of in Spotify's just bounced him around from stuff. Like you might like this, you might like this, and so I mean, kids are a lot better able to research and access stuff that they can find Led Zeppelin, whereas before they would have to go, Dad, have you got any Led Zeppelin? Or Dad would be playing it to them. So I think it's a really exciting time, and you see that's reflected in what you see younger bands doing now. They don't care. They just play whatever they reckon's good. Oh, you see this, man, this Hendrix is unreal, or this is Led Zeppelin. And they mimic that, and they incorporate it into their own thing, which is what's always happened and what should be. So I think it's a really healthy. That side of it is. I mean, the music industry, it's a weird beast, but it's very hard to kill.
Very hard to kill. Now, you are obviously in the. I'm going to try and say this again.
Just go HAS.
HAS. The Heartaches.
Think of it as a number plate. The Heartache State.
He said it. That is the band he's in now. But I do want to just take a step back, right? Because let's face it, right? You are best known really for Nick Barker and the Reptiles.
Yeah,
right? That's what puts you on the map.
Yep.
And now that band started in 1988.
Yep.
Yeah, which was a real peak period in Aussie rock.
Yeah.
So you had, major mainstream radio play, TV, magazines. He had his poster in Dolly magazine.
So I had lunch with Danny Minogue for Dolly magazine.
Oh wow!
Sit down interview.
That would have been cool.
Drank a lot of piss for nothing.
That's
about the only cool thing about it.
So
I was blind.
Yeah.
Great.
Girls would have his poster on the wall and all that sort of stuff, right?
Mr. One?
Yeah. So that must have been an amazing period in your life. We kind of covered it off before in the other interview, but
does the term rabbit in the spotlight mean anything to you?
Yeah.
That was me.
That's you. So tell me about what it was like being in such a popular band during that time.
But the thing is though, Jimmy, we were working the whole time.
So you had jobs the whole time?
No, we were playing.
Playing.
We did Jimmy Works Live, which is supporting Barnsey, so that was 3 months.
Yep.
We'd come off that, we did our own tour. Like, I've found some stuff at home, just some paperwork from the tours we did. We were just playing the whole time. And in those days, you could play 5 nights a week. So we were just touring. We'd come home from one and we'd I didn't even have anywhere to live for 2 years.
Yeah.
I didn't need it because we were just
constantly
going up and down the East Coast just playing, or we'd go to Perth, or, we were making a record. We went to America, made a record. We did this, we did that. It was only 4 years, so we packed a lot into it. So,
and when you were travelling around, were you flying back then all
God,
the time?
No.
You were driving?
We never flew. We drove.
Wow.
Those old, beautiful old late 80s Taragos,
Yeah.
We're getting those things, and they had a kind of weird well in the side where you could put ice in it, and you could fit exactly a slab in that little well between where the door opened, and when you finished all the beer, you just open the door and all the ice would fall out.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
So we drove. We didn't drive. We did drive to Perth once, but for the most part, we were just driving and playing and driving and playing, and there was just tons of gigs, and we were getting good money for gigs, and so we just, that's what we did.
So you were able to make a living out of it,
Not really.
But I guess you
But we were young, we were just having a blast,
Yeah.
I was 23, and all the other guys were probably 21, and Chris was a bit older, but we were just having a really good time. That's kind of what you live for, isn't it? If you want to be in a rock and roll band, we were one of those bands that just, wherever we were, whether it was a Wednesday night in Traralgon or a Saturday night in Sydney, or, we were getting drunk with whoever, and we were good guys, we were good guys to hang out with because we weren't snobs.
Yeah.
Much to the detriment of our livers and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I don't regret it, we had a blast. Man.
Absolutely not. Because I would have thought that, back then, having a record deal, getting all this publicity and all that sort of stuff, that the record company would do something like that, would be flying you around. But that all counts into costs anyway, doesn't it?
you still got to kind of stand on your own 2 feet touring wise. But I mean, there was a lot of pressure. They spent a lot of money on records in those days, man. I mean, that first album probably cost $250,000. You know, and I can play the last Heartache State record. It cost $5, and it probably sounds about 300 times better.
Wow.
You know,
yeah, that's huge.
But that's just how it was. They were US obsessed, so you know they got a guy out from the US to produce it, and the second album was done by a guy called Joe Hardy, rest his soul, who just died last week. But he was amazing. Like, he did ZZ Top and stuff. And,
oh wow!
But that was how they rolled. You know, they would spend that amount of money. They'd send you to America to make a record that cost $250,000 because that's just what record companies did. Because I don't know why, but they would throw everything at it. So,
wow. And knowing that, right? Did you know at the time that that's kind of the money that they're spending? Did you have any idea of?
I mean, I had an idea, but kind of we had no idea that how much debt you could run up. We never made any money out of those records. We never come close.
Wow.
I still get. I think Mushroom, all that stuff's owned by Warner's now, but I still get a statement every year saying you owe us $250,000.
Really?
Well, it's not like it's just a statement of account. It's not. They can't come round and you don't have to go and mow their lawns or something. No, you're not liable for it, but there is a debt, you know. And as far as, like, you know, we were pulling crowds and stuff, but we also had a PA and a truck. So
right, so you had to carry it all around.
We had a crew, and so, you know, the band itself wasn't making. We were probably getting $200 or $300 a week. Wow. With the promise of if we got, you know, and you're up against guys like Diesel and Noiseworks, and they're selling like 300,000-400,000 albums. Reptiles never sold anything like that. So we didn't really, you know, I mean, we never sold buckets and buckets of records, which is what they were trying to do. Right. Which is what, you know, Barnesy used to sell 500,000 albums. I mean, you know, this is big numbers. You know, we had a gold record, barely, which is fantastic, but as far as the bean counters, doesn't cover what, and the deals were pretty. They weren't in favour of the band, the actual contracts. So
that's fascinating.
But look, you know, if you had to give them, you know, as a 21-year-old, I would have signed anything.
Absolutely,
they would have said, "We'll take your firstborn." I would have signed it, you know, because that was in those days. It wasn't as easy as it is now to kind of put records out and publicise them yourself. You know, a record deal for me, I was just like, where do I sign? I don't care. What? What, you only get $1 a record? You got to pay that, use that to pay back the $250,000 you spent recording? I don't care. Let me add it, you know. A lawyer? I'll get a lawyer to look at it, but I don't care what he says. You know?
That's fascinating. I could ask you questions about that all day. We might.
I wasn't the only one. I mean, everybody signed. You know? And look, you know, that was a lot better contracts than guys like, you know, Creedence and those guys, and John Cougar and those guys. I mean, Tom Petty. Right. You know, watch that Tom Petty documentary and you realise that we got off lightly. I mean, those guys in the 70s really got slammed with shitty contracts. And just never made a fucking cent, you know. So
amazing. When you look at the local rock scene now, I don't know how much attention you pay to it, but you're in the scene because you're still playing around.
Well, I don't go out much using that,
But how do you feel about it for local bands now? How do you know, coming through the 80s and the way you had that with record contracts and touring and all that sort of stuff, and you look at young bands now coming through, do you think it's harder now?
I don't see it as being any different to what I did prior to the record contracts and publicity. Yeah. Because, you know, I was in bands from 82 up until 88, so that's 6 years, who just did everything themselves, and it was great, and it was a really solid scene. And the younger guys I know, who coincidentally are probably sons of people I know, like Chris Wilson's kids, and you know, just other friends' kids who aren't in the industry, whose kids have started coming up, and I've sort of got involved with them a little bit, just going to see them play and catching up with them, and they're just as resourceful as we ever were, and they're enjoying it just as much, and they just make shit happen. So I reckon I think it's great. Yeah. You know, you put it this way, you would not have seen a band like King Gizzard in 1988, they would have had a hard time. So now it's kind of just. Do you know what I mean? It's. I just think
it's more open.
Well, it's less run by the record companies now, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And they've dropped the ball. They've missed out on Spotify. They've missed out. Their model of just signing a bunch of bands and throwing publicity money at them doesn't work anymore.
No.
You can't. Well, you can buy publicity still, obviously, but it only really works for the big kind of cheesy shit acts. It doesn't work for the Tame Impalas and the King Gizzards and the bands that just sort of go out there, and King Parrot, bands like that just go out and kind of saying, well, this is the way we're doing it. It's that Fugazi model, but it's a lot for all those bands that kind of paved the way. Now it's a lot easier because of the internet. They can take charge of their publicity. They can bypass all the bullshit, the Dolly magazines and things, Do you know what I mean? They don't have to have lunch with fucking somebody to kind of. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
I dig it. I reckon it's a real good thing.
Because I was going to ask you about the internet as well, and what your thoughts were around that. Is it easier for bands now with the internet compared to how you guys had it?
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because with technology the way it is, anybody can make a record at home and put it out on the internet.
Yeah.
But I still think quality shines through. It just means that the bands that are really good and are really good songwriters are able to promote themselves a lot easier than if it was left up to a record company, someone listening to their demo tape and going, I'll just chuck that in the bin over there, that'll go into this bin. Yeah. Believe me, I know, I've been in A&R departments. They have people that listen to stuff and just,
It's still that way now?
I know, I've been in a record company for a long time. Thank Christ, not since 1998. So.
Yeah.
But it's just, I just think that the internet's like, put it out there,
the cream rises to the top.
Put a fucking cat in your video and away you go. But
yeah, exactly.
I also think that you're right though, the cream does rise to the top. And so, at the end of the day, people, especially young kids, they know what's bullshit and what's not, and they know that what they like. They're less influenced by the countdowns and the things and the fanzine screaming stuff than they were, which is a good thing. So.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Now, the next one kind of goes on that, and I'm really interested in your thoughts on this, because to my mind, right, there is a lack of support from the industry for up and coming Aussie bands, right? So they don't get played on the radio. There's no TV for them, and I'm wondering how do you disagree with me on that? Would you say that given...
I totally agree with you.
So would you say that the industry needs to change to help these younger bands?
I just reckon the industry can just... It's dying a slow death, and that's what it's doing purely because they have chose just to... They've had their head in the sand about technology for so long. They've had their head in the sand about Spotify. Now, to me... That was a no-brainer. That was going to happen. Streaming was going to happen.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Why not? If I was in a record company 10 years ago, I would have gone, we need to get onto this. We need to see this coming, and we need to have we need to go, all right, well, I'm a record company, I'm going to have my streaming site, and each record company could have it, but it's gone. Spotify's got it all now, and they'll just take over if they haven't already.
Yeah.
And... the radio stations, well, they can just stick to playing Foo Fighters and Nickelback because that's all they do anyway, and they play K-San, but they won't play Jimmy's new stuff. So basically, at the end of the day, fuck them, because the music industry and musicians just have already found a way around that, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
How long before building sites are just going to have some guy just hitting his Spotify playlist, who's ever the senior guy?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody, a pecking order, who chooses which radio station that's new, whether it's Gold FM or whether it's Triple M or whatever it is. Pretty soon, it's just going to be like one of those portable speakers.
Yeah.
Someone's just going to go, bang, okay, today it's my turn. And, they've just shot themselves in the foot. They've missed an opportunity. And, they've been hand-fed by what's going on overseas, and I have no sympathy for them whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't think they've moved with the times. I think that they've just honestly gone, oh, this isn't happening, this isn't
it's
happening.
too
Oh,
hard.
shit, it's happening,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And everyone goes, oh, what do you like Spotify for? It takes money off musicians. But I'm coming from a different angle, man. I mean, I don't care about making money off it, but if I make a record, I want someone to fucking listen to it. And if that's on Spotify, then fantastic, you know? And if that means that people will come to my gigs because of that, and then they buy a T-shirt. And let's face it, most bands make money out of T-shirts.
It's all merch and stuff like that.
Remember all that Napster shit that went on? I mean, God, I mean, people should have seen the writing on the wall then. You know, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, well, Metallica was right, really. I mean, in what they were
right and they were wrong. You know,
the way they approached it.
What they should have done is bought shares in it and gone.
Yes.
Okay, this is
Yeah, that would have made a mint.
Well, it would have been a good idea, and just. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen. Anyway, I mean, look, most bands now, young bands, you know, they'll go Spotify, and people want to buy their stuff. They just put it out on vinyl, and they buy that way, and they get a free T-shirt.
Yeah, and vinyl's
everyone has
back.
a win, you know. And, you know, the numbers are down. You know, the gold record now should be 5,000.
That's unreal now.
So.
You can get a number one song with like 3,000.
And it's all more festival based, and you know, it's not. The whole thing's changed, and I honestly believe it's for the better in a lot of ways. You know, I just think it gives more opportunities to people like me when I was 17. You know, and they don't need to sign their soul away for 5 years by signing a record contract, and that's got to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, I agree. Now, something that I'm interested in from you. Not just as he a musician.
Not about Dolly again, is it?
No, not about Dolly this time. You've been in acting roles as well.
I've been acting my whole life.
Yes. But you were in Blue Heelers. You were in Blue Heelers?
Believe it or not, there's another guy called Nick Barker.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
a lot of people ask me that.
It all keeps getting thrown under your name.
I wasn't in Blue Heelers. I was in
Pizza.
I was definitely in that.
Yeah. And the movie Amy, of course, with Rachel.
And I wrote all the songs in that.
Yeah.
Well, all the band songs in that.
How did you get into that? Like, what was that like?
Someone just rang me out of the blue. Because some things in the film industry, they actually need a musician, and that was that role in that movie. They needed a musician. It was done by some people that made Malcolm, and they Nadia Tass, and they needed a musician. So they just auditioned musicians, and an agent from Sydney rang me and said, they'd obviously just gone, we need a musician, and put the word out. So this woman just rang me and sent me along, and there was a song in the script. The scene was guy sits down and plays a song to his daughter, blah blah blah. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just write a song. You know, there was a title there, so I went in with the song that I'd written. I think that probably got me over the line.
So did you have to audition among other people for that role?
I had to audition with Rachel Griffiths, man. I walked in off the street just going, you know, she's an incredible actor, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And an intimidating person too, you know.
Is she?
Well, she's unbelievable, but she's tall and you know, and beautiful, and you know, she'd just come off Muriel's wedding and stuff, and I was just like, fuck.
Were you nervous?
Oh man, I was shitting myself.
Really?
I had to improv a scene with Rachel Griffiths. It was like,
that would have been really cool.
That was crazy. But anyway, I got it and ended up writing all the band stuff for it, and it worked out great for me.
Awesome.
Cheesiest song in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
But very
Tim
good,
Hamill
though.
played on all that too.
Yeah, he was in that as well. Yeah, interesting.
And Venom,
Very interesting life. Now, do you...
should check out the pizza thing. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it is on YouTube. I have
It's called
seen
Crime Pizza.
Very funny. Do you feel that Aussie bands are better off going overseas to look for success now? And in regards to that as well, the requirement for new bands to be paying for everything themselves, so they need money. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, my thoughts around that are this: that if you're in a young band, and that's the one thing the internet has brought to the music industry, is it's a lot easier to go and do shows over. I mean, I'd go over to Europe every year. Like I said before, I did two sort of these crazy tours with Tim Rogers over there. I did I did 3 or 4 tours over there by myself, just for the internet. Just some guy in Italy. Oh, I love Australian music.
Wow.
You know, they're not glamorous and they're not, but So for a young band, rather than going on a kind of gap year thing, you might as well just go and play because it's just the same. It wouldn't cost you any more or less money than it would to go backpacking for 12 months.
Yeah.
Because you'll still be staying in someone's floor or...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what Nick Cave and those guys essentially did in the go-betweens, and they just went. So
you would encourage that?
Don't wait for somebody to kind of go, here's the first-class airfares to LA and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a band and you get on well and you want to go play, go do it. I mean, you know, you're only going to be playing to 30, 50 people here, maybe 100 on a good night. Why not go do it in Europe?
Yeah.
If you're young and, you know, you don't have a family and,
that's
God, man,
right.
I wish I'd done it
Yeah.
more. I mean, I did it, but I just wish I'd kind of, you know, done more of it. And, you know, don't get caught up in that whole thing of, oh, we've got to get signed and we need to... I just disagree with that. I think that model's gone out the window.
Yeah.
You only got to jag one good festival and away you go, and you're not going to do that sitting around in Melbourne.
No.
So if you honestly, I mean, it's so easy to travel now. You know, you don't even need to take a guitar with you if you don't want
You
to.
just hire everything when you
You can hire, you can borrow, you could get online and make friends with some band in Austin, Texas, and go, hey man, we're coming over, and you know, if you ever want to come over here.
Yeah,
Just that. I mean, you see the networking. Watch my 19-year-old son, what he does on the internet with his friends, and you know, it's just. I think it's
easier.
I just think it's a doddle. You know, I really believe that you can do anything you want. Don't get caught down, stuck here, waiting for some guy from Sony to turn up to your gig with a fucking contract.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
It's like School of Rock, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
I love it.
It is.
Get to the top of Mount Rock.
Yeah. And that sort of leads into my next question, because I'm gonna ask you, if you were 21 again and you were starting a band and you had no history, no contacts, nothing.
Now,
Yeah, and you were 21. How would you go about it now? What would
if
you
I
do?
think about that, like if I had the Heartache State, apart from it being the hardest band name in the world to say, apparently, now I'd be going, let's go, boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go overseas.
Yeah. Go to Europe.
Yeah.
Just playing bars.
Mm.
Just do it and do it and do it and do it and do it.
Yeah.
Do it and do it. You know, and I have no doubt that if I had that luxury now with that band playing as we are with the songs that we have, we wouldn't be the next biggest band in the world. But I guarantee you, we would win some fans, and we would have some fun, and we'd be able to go back again, without a doubt. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Are there any plans for that band to go overseas?
It's just hard, man.
Thought about it?
We've tried, but you know, everyone's got families.
That's
and
right.
It's a bunch of old farts, really.
Yeah. But for a young band, he's saying,
Back yourselves in. You
Yeah.
know? It's easy. It's so, you know, you can go, you know, you can go to Australia and drive from Melbourne to Sydney, but you know, as everyone knows, you can go to Europe and drive 100 k's and you're in a different country that might. One band hates you in Holland, they'll love you in Belgium. You know, you just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You ask Rusty from Electric Mirror, he'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Well, I did.
And they're playing all them
That's-
heritage festivals over there, man.
Yeah.
They're smashing it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Why
but
the
there's
hell not?
bars and you know, Germany, they love rock and roll. Man, God, Italy, they love rock and roll. I mean, I played in all these places. I would have loved to have taken a band over there with me, but it's just people need a bit of money. They need this, they need that. And
It's
so.
tough. Yeah.
But if you're 21 and you just kind of no one gives a damn, you just go, you know. Anyway.
Interesting. I like it because that's kind of where everybody else is saying a similar type thing. That you may as well go overseas if you can do it and back yourself, like you say.
Well, and if you can't, well then don't, you know. But I just go as a tourist and play some gigs. You know? You don't need to do this big logistical nightmare of we're going and we all need to stay together. Just okay. There's 4 of us. Let's just go. You know. Let's just go and you know.
And have fun while you're doing it.
There's all story. I mean, you've seen that band that chats, seen what they've been able to do. You know.
Yeah. Awesome.
Be creative. You know. God, man. I mean, we could make a video clip now, but it could be on YouTube in half an hour. You
Exactly
know, it might
right.
get 10 hits, and if it had a cat in it, it might get 1 million.
We should do that. We'd grab a cat and we could do it.
But you know my point. I mean,
I do,
like you couldn't do that.
No.
When I was coming up, you'd need a producer, and you'd need a guy, and you'd need this and a budget and all that sort of stuff. So I'd be look, you know, and I hate big cliches like this, but honestly, the world is your oyster if you're in a young band now. But once again, if you're not good enough, then you won't do it. But I just believe the line between, I reckon the gap between all this sort of shit music being stuffed down people's throat, I reckon that side of the industry's disappeared, which I think's fantastic.
Yes.
So it's not being sort of gavage fed to people because all they have is commercial radio and
they've got everything else now.
Now they've got sort of, the internet, and they've got other things, and they can make their choices. And do you know what I'm saying, Jimmy?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Easier.
I'll pass you another beer while we're here.
Oh.
He's only had about 5.
Sponsored by Corona.
All right.
Most expensive interview that Channel 31's ever done, ever.
That's right.
What do they call that show? Drunk History?
Drunk History.
Drunk History with Nick Barker.
Yeah. There you go.
Tell us about the music industry.
So, all right. So, what advice would you give to new bands now? You've got so much knowledge and history behind you, right? And and I say this not just for the fact of you being, someone that's done everything, but you're a singer-songwriter, and so you've got that. It's different.
No, you can't throw a rock without hitting a singer-songwriter these days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. But given your experience and all that sort of stuff, what do you say to bands out there and singer-songwriters trying to get somewhere now? What advice would you give them?
Well, it depends. I guess it all depends on what you aspire to,
Yeah.
I mean, as I've said to you before, that what we aspired to was that record contract. That was the baited hook.
Yeah.
Do people want to travel? Do they want to just take their guitar and do the troubadour trip? And you can do that without anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't believe the cheeky stuff I get on Facebook, like people saying, "Oh, I noticed you're playing at such and such a venue. I'm over here from America touring around.
Mm-hmm.
Could I support you?"
Oh, right.
Nothing. It's like, whoa, man, that's a bit, it's a little bit, it's got to be some sort of space. But look, short of busking, that if you wanted to, if that's what you want to do, I would just go and play, whether it's here, whether it's overseas. And I just reckon anything that you have to apply for in music, whether it be sending demos in, whether it be applying for music festivals, whether it be applying for grants, all that's going to lead to disappointment.
Yeah. So don't
ultimately
expect much.
Don't expect anything.
Yeah.
And the problem is with music is it's so personal that if you take everything like that, is like a blow to the head.
That's right.
It's such an ego.
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't get on that. And look, believe me, I suffer from it worse than anybody.
Really.
So I just honestly think that you control the things you can control.
Yeah.
Which is, all that internet stuff, your YouTube channel, your Facebook, putting up what you put. But if you put yourself out there too much, you'll wind up just having your heart broken. So like if you over network yourself, like it depends. I mean, some people have the personality for it.
Yeah.
Some people don't care. They're bulletproof. They have a suit of armour on. They don't care that people just say no, fuck off. We don't want you on our festival. We don't blah blah blah. Some people don't care about that. Then more power to them. But if you're like me, you're a little bit kind of sensitive.
Yeah.
Because believe me, I am, and and I still am to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take rejection well. Then don't put yourself in that situation. Don't feel that you need to apply for the big festivals and that. And if you don't get on them, because they send you these terrible emails.
Right. Really.
We're sorry you didn't make this thing. Don't email us back because we don't like whinges and blah blah blah. And these sort of generic kind of where you just feel like emailing them some photo of your body parts. But.
Never done
but
that.
Having said that, like Heartache State are doing Port Fairy, and we're doing Gumball this year. And I never applied for them. We just got approached because, people go, hey, we've heard of these guys, and they're the good festivals. They're the people that you want to be with. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to be paying some application fee to $15 to apply for some festival that you never get in on.
Exactly.
That's just fucking ripping off people's dreams. You know, I hate that shit.
I've talked about that before. Yes, having to pay to send your music in for consideration for a festival, and if you don't get on
it's a rip-off.
You don't get your money back.
It's like song poems from the 1950s. You know, anyone that they're just taking advantage of kids' dreams, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But, and a lot of it's the same with other things. So I just think, getting back to my point, rambling on, but it's just, be true to yourself. If you're okay with rejection, you're okay with getting things, then go for it. But if you're not, and you're sensitive and you're a singer-songwriter and you think that that's where you fit in, then don't put yourself, don't feel that you need to.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what other things people are doing on Facebook. Just
do your own thing.
What is it? Someone said this really great thing to me once, that you only really need 1,000 people to appreciate what you do as a artist. That's enough.
Yeah.
Which, the numbers I was dealing with when I was a kid was like, oh man, you sold 40,000 albums. Fuck, it's just a fucking failure. Fuck me. I sell 40,000 Heartache State albums. I'm putting a pool in, you know what I mean? Or I'm buying a house. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Amazing.
I mean, Happy Man sold between 10 and 15,000 albums, and at the time it was seen as just like a bit of a fail from a record. And it's a fucking lot of records.
It is. People would kill to sell 10,000 albums now. They
kill to sell 5.
Exactly. Yeah.
Believe me, I mean, I've done a lot of co-writing with people. And I've seen the royalties I get back from records, and people aren't selling records. There was a time when some people you'd co-write with, that you would go, ooh.
Yeah, here we go.
So
doesn't happen anymore. You come across to me as the type of guy.
It's an old drunk.
No, at the point you're at now, where it's not that you don't care, but you're just happy to just get on a stage and just play.
It's definitely not that I don't care. I mean, I care about younger bands and that, but what I don't care about is reclaiming some old glory. That's what I don't care about. I don't want to be, Nick Barker from, they made me smile, it's just great, and I'm at some festival. That's not what I want to be. I'd like to be at a festival with a Heartache State, with my head down, playing 12-bar rock and roll. Yeah. Fucking oath, man. I'd love that.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
I don't want to be at, whatever these big festivals are that have got everybody a man and his dog. And as I said, that's great. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's not how I see myself. I'm a musician. I'm a songwriter. I'm not somebody who wants to have my ego stroked and massaged.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Last question. Then I'm going to let you go home. You
have to get me a cab.
Yeah. I think, like, I've followed you for many years, right through the Reptiles and the Nick Barker solo
about
stuff.
4 when Reptiles were around.
Yeah, oh no. But I had an older brother as well. And so we influenced, And I think you are one of the great lyricists, right? I've said it to you before in the other interview, the way you tell a story is fantastic. How do you go about your lyrics? Like, what inspires you to write what you write? Does it just come out?
It always comes second to the music, strangely.
Ah, wow.
Always write the music first. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'll come up with, and I'm generally got a good line or two, and then I'm lazy with it. Apart from when I did that Happy Man record, generally I'll still be writing lyrics when I'm doing vocals quite a lot of the time. I change stuff. But it's always, to me, it's actually kind of pretty dumb. It's like Paul Westerberg. Things have got to rhyme.
Oh yeah.
That's my first point. Once I've got the initial idea for the song, I just run with rhymes. Rogers does it as well. And it's how I work.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was because my mum brought me up on bush bands, Australian folk music, where everything was like Mulga Bill.
Wow, really?
And everything rhymed. And like a lot of basically all of my lyrics, if you stripped away the music, you could read them as bush poetry.
Yeah, right.
I'm not kidding. You could, even Time Bomb,
That's interesting, yeah.
Everything's got maybe not Time Bomb, but most of the others have got a kind of cadence about them, and it's like they're like Pogue songs. If you take the music away from them, they're sort of
clap along and
and they rhyme, and they've got a kind of weird bush poetry thing about them. And that's something that I was drilled into me when I was little. But everything has to rhyme, which is kind of it's probably why I don't like Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen. That's why I love the Stones. You know, because there's this sort of childishness about that. But it's really great. But you go, but it doesn't stop me writing. I'm the guy who put bloated hypocrite in a song. I mean, try and get something to rhyme with that.
I wrote a song and used vaping and e-cigarettes in the song.
Vaping's a great one because you can rhyme a lot of things with
rhyme.
that.
Yeah, that's right. So you just pull it from anywhere. Inspiration.
You can't. Me and Rogers had this thing where we used to write these dumb songs when we were doing them tours, and there was always this challenge to put certain things into songs. And since then, that's years ago, we've both of us managed to do the things that we challenged each other to do. And it just comes down to rhyming. If you can find something to rhyme, and rock and roll is a great thing to rhyme with, because rock and roll is based on that. Anything's all that sort of country rock stuff.
Bluesy sort of stuff.
And after seeing Some Kind of Monster, you realise that
it wasn't that interesting.
Venom still can't watch that.
Really?
He won't watch it.
Why not?
Because he's just such a huge Metallica fan, he can't bring himself to watch it.
That's funny. Very good. Well, look, that brings us to the end. I think
I've just got to recommend one thing. The Quiet Riot documentary.
Quiet Riot documentary, yes.
Any kids out there?
I haven't seen that yet, but I need to.
And you run this show. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I know. I've seen the Twisted Sister one and all the others.
The Quiet Riot documentary is without the best rock and roll documentary I've ever seen in my life. Followed closely by the Bros one.
Oh, the Bros one. I haven't seen that either, but I want to watch that. I want to watch
What
the
are you
Bros
guys
one.
doing this weekend?
No, I do. I want to watch the Bros one.
It's got the best line in it ever.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but we don't have as much time as Rome did.
Jesus.
Anyway.
That's Bros for you.
But the Quiet Riot documentary. Kids.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Love it. That brings us to the end. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I really
Jimmy. Thanks for the beers,
that. Yeah, you are a legend, and I love what you have achieved in the industry and what you do. And I think the advice that you give kids out there should take notice of, because you're not going to get much more experience than this bloke. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, fuck, it's my pleasure.
Cool. Go listen to his music. He's unreal. See ya.
Bros documentary.
Bros. Thanks, mate.